The history of television has witnessed numerous significant changes since its inception. Here is an overview of some key developments and advancements that have shaped the evolution of TV. Mechanical television, late 1800s to 1930s. Early experiments in television began in the late 19th century with pioneers like Paul Nipkow, who developed the concept of the mechanical scanning disc. In 1927, Philo Farnsworth demonstrated the first fully electronic television system, which used cathode ray tubes, CRTs, for image transmission. Introduction of broadcast television, 1930s to 1940s. In the 1930s, television broadcasting began, primarily in experimental or limited capacities. The British Broadcasting Corporation, BBC, launched the world's first regular television service in 1936, followed by other countries. The adoption of the analog broadcasting system, using VHF and UHF frequency bands, and the creation of TV networks marked this period. Rise of color television, 1950s to 1960s. The introduction of color television revolutionized the viewing experience. In 1953, RCA developed the first commercially viable color TV system. However, widespread color broadcasting took time due to the need for compatible color TV sets and programming. Transition to digital television, 1980s to 2000s. Digital television, DTV, emerged as a major shift from analog broadcasting, providing higher picture and sound quality. In the 1980s, efforts to develop digital TV standards began, leading to the creation of various systems like the Advanced Television Systems Committee, ATSC, in the United States. By the late 1990s and early 2000s, digital TV broadcasts became more prevalent, and governments worldwide started mandating the transition from analog to digital. Introduction of flat panel displays and HD TV, 1990s to 2000s. The emergence of flat panel display technologies, such as plasma and LCD screens, replaced bulky CRTs and made televisions thinner and more visually appealing. High-definition television, HD TV, gained popularity in the late 1990s and early 2000s, offering enhanced resolution and aspect ratios compared to standard-definition TVs. Smart TVs and Internet streaming, 2010s, present. The integration of Internet connectivity into television sets gave rise to smart TVs, allowing users to access online content and streaming services directly. Services like Netflix, Amazon Prime Video, and Hulu revolutionized the way people consume television shows and movies, shifting from traditional cable or satellite subscriptions. The advent of streaming devices, such as Roku, Apple TV, and Chromecast, further expanded streaming options. Advancements in display technology, present. More recent advancements include the widespread adoption of LED and OLED displays, offering improved contrast, color reproduction, and energy efficiency. The development of 4K Ultra HD and even 8K resolution TVs has enhanced the level of detail and visual experience for viewers. Additionally, innovations like curved displays and rollable screens are being explored, pushing the boundaries of TV design. These are just a few of the many changes that have occurred throughout the history of television. The industry continues to evolve rapidly, with advancements in areas such as virtual reality, VR, augmented reality, AR, and interactive television shaping the future of the medium. The entertainment landscape has undergone significant changes in the realms of television, movies, and computers over the years. Here's a brief overview of the history of changes in each of these areas. Television. Expansion of channels and cable TV. In the early days of television, there were only a few channels available. However, the introduction of cable TV in the 1950s and 1960s led to an increase in the number of channels, offering viewers more choices and specialized programming. Satellite television and direct-to-home, DTH. The 1980s and 1990s saw the rise of satellite television, enabling the distribution of programming to a wider audience. Direct-to-home services allowed viewers to receive TV signals directly through satellite dishes, providing a broader range of content and improved reception. On-demand and streaming services. The advent of on-demand and streaming services, such as Netflix, Amazon Prime Video, and Hulu, in the 2000s revolutionized TV viewing. These platforms offered viewers the freedom to watch content at their convenience, introducing binge-watching culture and challenging traditional broadcast models. Over-the-top, OTT, services and cord-cutting. OTT services refer to content delivered over the Internet, bypassing traditional distribution channels. This shift has led to an increase in cord-cutting, as viewers opt for streaming platforms and abandon traditional cable or satellite subscriptions. Second screen experience. With the proliferation of smartphones and tablets, the concept of the second screen experience emerged. Viewers started using their devices simultaneously while watching TV, engaging in social media conversations, accessing additional content, or participating in interactive elements related to the TV show. Movies. Introduction of sound. The transition from silent films to talkies in the late 1920s marked a significant change in the movie industry. Sound technology allowed films to include synchronized dialogue, music, and sound effects. Technological advancements. The movie industry witnessed numerous technological advancements, including the introduction of color films in the 1930s, the shift from analog to digital filmmaking in the late 20th century, and the development of computer-generated imagery, CGI, and special effects techniques. Multiplexes and stadium seating. The rise of multiplex theaters, which house multiple screens under one roof, and the introduction of stadium seating in the 1990s enhanced the moviegoing experience by offering a choice of films and more comfortable seating arrangements. Home video and DVD. The emergence of home video in the 1980s and the subsequent introduction of DVDs in the 1990s allowed viewers to watch movies in their own homes. This revolutionized film distribution and provided access to a wide variety of movies for personal viewing. Online streaming and video on demand. Similar to TV, the movie industry witnessed a shift towards online streaming platforms and video on demand services in the 2000s. Services like Netflix and Amazon Prime Video offered a vast catalog of movies for streaming, expanding accessibility and convenience. Computers. Gaming. Computers transformed the gaming industry, from the early text-based games in the 1970s to the sophisticated graphics and immersive experiences of modern video games. Gaming consoles, such as the Atari, Nintendo, PlayStation, and Xbox, further enhanced the gaming landscape. Internet and online gaming. The widespread adoption of the Internet opened up opportunities for online gaming, allowing players to connect and compete with others worldwide. Massively multiplayer online role-playing games, MMORPGs, gained popularity, providing immersive virtual worlds for players to explore. Digital media and streaming. The rise of digital media and the Internet facilitated the distribution of music, movies, and TV shows. Digital music platforms. The evolution of television has brought about significant changes in entertainment content over the years. Here is a brief history of some key shifts in TV programming. Early television programming, 1940s to 1950s. In the early days of television, programming primarily consisted of live broadcasts, including news, variety shows, and live performances. Soap operas, which originated on radio, made their way to television, captivating audiences with ongoing dramatic storylines. Golden Age of Television, 1950s to 1960s. This era marked the emergence of scripted dramas and anthology series, such as The Twilight Zone and Playhouse 90, showcasing quality storytelling and attracting a broad audience. Sitcoms like I Love Lucy and The Honeymooners became immensely popular, bringing laughter and relatable characters into people's homes. Expansion of genre diversity, 1970s to 1980s. The 1970s saw an increase in genre diversity, with the introduction of police procedurals like Hill Street Blues and Starsky and Hutch, as well as sitcoms with social commentary like All in the Family. Science fiction gained popularity with shows like Star Trek and The $6 Million Man, exploring futuristic concepts and technology. Reality TV and game shows, 1990s to 2000s. The 1990s witnessed the rise of reality TV, starting with shows like The Real World and Survivor. These programs offered unscripted, dramatic, and often competitive content, captivating audiences with real people and situations. Game shows also experienced a resurgence, with hits like Who Wants to Be a Millionaire and Jeopardy!, attracting large audiences and offering interactive experiences. Cable and premium networks, 1980s, present. The expansion of cable television and the emergence of premium networks like HBO and Showtime provided more creative freedom and allowed for edgier and more mature content. Critically acclaimed dramas like The Sopranos, The Wire, and Breaking Bad pushed the boundaries of storytelling on television, offering complex narratives and morally ambiguous characters. Cable networks also catered to niche audiences with specialized programming, such as sports channels, music channels, and networks dedicated to specific genres like comedy or crime. Streaming services and on-demand content, 2000s, present. The advent of streaming services like Netflix, Amazon Prime Video, and Hulu has revolutionized TV content. These platforms offer a vast library of shows and movies on demand, allowing viewers to binge-watch entire seasons and discover new series. Original programming from streaming services, such as Stranger Things, House of Cards, and The Crown, has gained critical acclaim, competing with traditional broadcast and cable networks for awards and viewership. Streaming platforms also introduced international content to a global audience, increasing the accessibility and popularity of non-English language shows. Interactive and transmedia experiences, present. The current landscape of television is embracing interactive and transmedia experiences. Shows like Black Mirror, Bandersnatch and Westworld incorporate interactive elements, allowing viewers to make choices that impact the narrative. Transmedia storytelling extends TV content across multiple platforms, including websites, mobile apps, social media, and alternate reality games, creating immersive and interconnected experiences. These changes in TV content reflect the industry's response to evolving audience preferences, technological advancements, and the influence of new platforms and distribution models. Books have long been a source of entertainment, and over time, they have undergone several changes in content and the way they are consumed. Here's an overview of the history of changes in book entertainment content. Oral tradition and early written stories. In ancient times, storytelling was primarily an oral tradition, with tales and legends passed down through generations by word of mouth. The invention of writing systems allowed stories to be recorded, such as the ancient epics like the Epic of Gilgamesh and the Odyssey, which provided entertainment in written form. Manuscripts and illuminated books, Middle Ages. During the Middle Ages, manuscripts were painstakingly copied by hand, often by monks and scribes, and were embellished with elaborate illustrations and decorations. These manuscripts, including religious texts and illuminated books like the Book of Kells, not only served as sources of information but also provided visual and aesthetic enjoyment. Printing press and the rise of the novel, 15th to 18th centuries. The invention of the printing press by Johannes Gutenberg in the 15th century revolutionized book production. It allowed for faster and more widespread distribution of books. With the availability of printed books, new genres emerged, including novels. Novels offered engaging narratives and fictional stories, entertaining readers with characters, plots, and adventures. Examples include Miguel de Cervantes' Don Quixote and Daniel Defoe's Robinson Crusoe. Popular fiction and serialization, 19th century. The 19th century witnessed the rise of popular fiction and serialization. Works by authors like Charles Dickens and Alexander Dumas were often published in installments in newspapers or magazines, captivating readers with ongoing stories and cliffhangers. Expansion of genres and literary movements, 20th century. The 20th century brought significant changes to book content, with the exploration of various genres and the emergence of literary movements. Science fiction, fantasy, crime, and romance novels gained popularity, catering to different interests and preferences. Modernist and postmodernist movements challenged traditional storytelling conventions, experimenting with narrative structures, perspectives, and themes in works like James Joyce's Ulysses and Italo Calvino's If on a Winter's Night a Traveler. Diversification and digital publishing, late 20th century, present. The late 20th century and the digital age brought new avenues for book content. E-books and digital publishing expanded the accessibility and availability of books, enabling readers to consume literature on electronic devices. Self-publishing platforms and online marketplaces, such as Amazon's Kindle Direct Publishing, empowered authors to reach a broader audience and introduced a wider range of content, including niche genres and independent works. The emergence of audiobooks, narrated by professional voice actors, further diversified the book entertainment landscape, providing an alternative format for consuming stories. Interactive and enhanced reading, present. With advancements in technology, books have begun to incorporate interactive and multimedia elements. Enhanced ebooks, for example, may include embedded videos, audio clips, and interactive graphics, offering readers a more immersive and engaging experience. Choose your own adventure books and interactive novels allow readers to make choices that influence the outcome of the story, providing a more interactive form of entertainment. These changes in book content reflect the evolving interests and preferences of readers, as well as the technological advancements that have influenced the way books are created and consumed.